My name is Karen Crouch. I work at ALTEC. If you haven't met me, that's Anderson Language and Technology Center. So I'll go ahead and move on there. I do like to have fun, as you'll probably see in my slides and in the presentation. I right now work on instructional design. I work on faculty professional development. I look at education technology tools, looking at research, different projects and collaborations with community groups, and also looking at different grants right now. Plus, I enjoy new tech. I've been at CU for 7 years, working with international students and scholars, also working at the International English Center as faculty and teaching English. And then I've also worked in K through 12 teaching English abroad, going from a very basic rudimentary classroom to a smart classroom that I have not seen in a US public school system. So I'm really happy to be here. And I also just wanted to say, at any moment, if you guys want to reach out, chat about these things, get in contact, have an idea, want to talk about lesson or activities, please feel free. So our agenda for today, I sent this on the Outlook. We will do a little bit of an introduction to AR and VR for language learning. We will talk a bit about language activities, some student projects, and how this could apply to cultural exploration. We'll look at some VR applications and we'll do a demo of Google Arts and Culture, Google Earth, Mozilla Hubs, Just Align, and Modly, AR. We'll have a group discussion, and the mini experience is optional where you can download one of the apps and try something out. And then I'll talk about some next steps and resources. And again, any questions that you have along the way, please feel free to jump in. Okay. How many of you guys, and you can just raise your hands or jump in, have tried out VR or AR just for yourselves? Just have tried it. Awesome. Perfect. So got one. Cool. And how many of you are actually interested in possibly incorporating this into your course, depending on how much time and energy you have? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what matters. One of the things that I would like to say as I started is I am not an expert in this area. That's why I'm starting to connect with Atlas and other departments around CU to find those experts, those PhD students studying this. But XR is kind of an all-encompassing umbrella term for extended reality, and that could be virtual reality or augmented reality. And so I've kind of put that up here for us as a definition. I'm also going to be sharing some resources later for you guys to click around and have this. So one of the things is immersive technology. We have a reality that we all live in. Some of us are in different realities, right? Granted. But we're here in this earth. But when we're talking about immersive technology, we're extending our reality and we're adding digital elements to it, okay? So you're either fully immersed, and that could be the VR, or you are augmenting your reality, and that's the AR. You're adding pieces to it. And again, if if you haven't experienced it, and hopefully we'll do it today, so then you can all be like, I did it. I think this sounds very spacey until I realized that since about 2013, I've been playing Pokemon Go. I've been playing Pokemon Go with my son, who got me into this game. And, you know, as we travel, if we've got a break, we'll catch Pokemon. We bring them into our reality, to the rec center where we're at, and we interact. We feed our Pokemon. It's something that's very silly, but for some reason, it's engaging, it's addicting, and so it's actually all around, and you can see that this is coming. Why for language learning, right? Because we've seen virtual reality, augmented reality often in STEM, and something that's picking up steam is STEAM, right? It's STEM with an A. It's adding arts to STEM, and I think that's a really fun spot. And when I look at XR and what's happening now, I see it as an extension of the classroom. So this is my personal point. I'm just going to add this in here, that this isn't something that I think is going to replace an instructor. But we're seeing more and more students using their technology. We've seen CALL, computer-assisted language learning. We've seen MAL, mobile-assisted language learning. I really do think VR is going to be the next step. And I'll be talking about today a little bit why VR can be utilized on multiple devices and looked at in a more inclusive way. I also think that students are coming in with multimedia expectations for their classrooms and education, and then their VR has a really natural place there. I'm looking at research for VR and learning outcomes, and it's kind of right here, right now. Language learning in VR, we're starting to see this come up in the international IALT, so International Association for Language Teaching conferences and language learning. We also can see this in ACTFL, the American Council of Teaching. Immersive technologies is becoming its own category of teaching and pedagogy within language and culture. And so I'm seeing more presentations come out, more research is starting to come out, Oxford and big universities. So it's kind of a really fun time for language learning in this medium. And I almost see it like as space might be the fourth dimension, right? From land, water, air, space. It's sort of like CALL, MAL. Are we going to VR? Are we going to have these, interactive, immersive spaces? Makes a lot of sense. So the last piece I wanted to say for this too, when we are going to be looking a little bit at why use this in language, how, is that while students are really excited about it, there's a lot of neuroscience that's coming out that's actually showing that VR does have a correlation with how the aspects of learning affective, so how someone feels, how much I can actually get, how much I feel excited about the content, can I learn it? And then you're seeing cognitive, where students are able to sort of take new information and tie it to old information with VR. So it's exciting times. And then with that, I kind of wanted to point out, I'm a realist, and as a former language instructor, I'm like, great, what am I going to do with this, right? So I wanted to give some ideas for you, some options, because we have language activities that we prepare for, and we have cultural exploration that we want to get students excited about when it comes to language learning. And then I really see an area for student projects. And one of the things that I wanted to show you here, and if you guys have any ideas too, I'll be asking at the end for what do you think in your course? How could you apply this? We have some people focused on vocabulary. Some people are focused on conversation skills or pronunciation or, an advanced level, and they want to look at literature. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about some of these. But for me, virtual tours and locations are really easy. It's museums. These are the resources. What are the resources out there that you could use? Virtual tours and locations, as we had the pandemic, they exploded. They're online. They're coming up with all kinds of places, and I'm going to share some links here right after this slide so I can catch you guys up with some of our resources. Museums you can go to, and Dulce, you may have seen this, museums all over. It's probably one of the reasons you're excited to be here, is because there's, an opportunity to take that educational material and get that content out there in a fun, you could add content to it, or you could actually just go and have the actual experience the actual experience of going there and walking around a gallery and being able to see the placards. So fun opportunities there. What else can you use? There are platforms that help you create virtual spaces. Okay, so you can create your own conversation group in a virtual spot. So we'll look at that with Mozilla Hubs a little bit later. And we'll have a look at some apps that are out there. So these are kind of what are ways that we can bring it in without having to create the content. And then why? Why would you bring this in? Oftentimes, as language educators, we have a need to bring out those cultural connections, units, themes, food, for example, or going to visit a country, a historical place. Another good reason is authentic resources. A lot of these apps and immersive technology are bringing out authentic resources that students wouldn't normally be able to get in a textbook. So I think that in of itself is worthwhile. Making comparisons, again, I can go and I can cross compare one thing to another with a lot of these apps, which I'll show you. And I like to have fun creating a fictional scene, role playing, bringing back history. Olga, I know you like that kind of stuff too, right? Reacting and thinking about putting yourself in the shoes of historical character. It makes the lesson that much more real, right? And so the other piece is it's multimedia. It's engaging and fun. So I think oftentimes when we're working with language learners, and as we're learning a language, we have our moments where we're very excited. We have our reason for doing this, and it can dip, right? And so this can kind of bring back some of that excitement, or maybe even share with beginners who wanted to do a study abroad, make it a little more real for them. So these are just some reasons. And so really quickly, I want to go ahead and share this link with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in and go back to this for a second. So in my chat, let me go ahead and stop share for a second and put this in the chat. Perfect. So as I go, I'm going to be looking at some of the resources. I've got some activity ideas in there. So if you were to click on some of the activity ideas, I've got you here with specific language skills. So if you were looking at a reading, writing, listening, speaking activity, that you could look at how to bring this out or even have a template for instructions for students. Did everyone get that?
Unfortunately, it's not opening. I don't know why.
No worries, Olga. I'll send it to you right afterwards to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share screen again and make sure you guys can see this. Okay. Good. Okay.
Hi, language teachers. Welcome to Google Arts and Culture.
I created this and my husband was a little like, what is that? That's so creepy. Hopefully you guys were able to see that. Yes? Okay, that's an interactive experience. So we're going to go ahead and get started with some of our demos now. And the first place that we're going to see is Google Arts and Culture. I was able to obviously take a selfie and make myself into Vincent van Gogh for this. I was also able to take a picture and put it through a filter. And I could actually make my own self in the style of Vincent van Gogh, which is another way the app does. This is fantastic. This app is really fun. It has games, crossword puzzles, coloring books, matching. It has places that you can go to, 80 different countries, museums, cultural sites, UNESCO World Heritage. You can look at artwork, you can look at subjects. I also wanted to point out in the slide that you can also see text, right? Now, my issue with this, or the hard part is, you have to find that content and take the time, and hopefully that content's already created for you and it matches with the curriculum. Okay, so that's maybe the downside of Google Arts and Culture. Now, the positive side about it, and I just wanted to show you, this is, hopefully you guys can still see my screen. Yeah, okay, thank you. This is Google Arts and Culture, and since we are from colorado.edu, we have the Google Suites, right? And so we're able to access Google Arts and Culture here, and so can our students. I wanted to highlight some of the fun things it can do. You are actually, let me stay on the home page for a second. You've got these interactive experiences where we can go and explore. Again, this is in English, but maybe you are trying to sort of set the stage and get someone excited. about a language project or investigating an area or a place. And you can kind of see that it scrolls through. I can also go on the tours. Okay, so it has this interactive piece as well. I can actually go and explore myself into different categories. Arts, movement. I believe before I've gone into, so you can see they've got collections. They have a number of museums that you can go to. Museo de Arte de Mexico. We can go in here, we can take a look. Google Arts and Culture, and this is, again, tricky. I can find this information in Spanish, okay? So you can see that if I'm language teaching, I don't know, maybe I've got students that are not advanced enough to get this. So that's a piece you might have to modify and might be something you need to scaffold for students before they go in. But it's quite easy to share. You can link to it. You can add that. Yeah, Olga. Uh-huh.
Well, I was trying to look for it on my computer. You say that we have it available at CU, and where do I, like in the Google, where is it, like?
Yeah. Well, I do single sign-on oftentimes. So probably because you couldn't get in the doc, you're probably not signed on to your Google. But when you sign on to Google, and you fill it out that says, you know, your identity and your password,
Yeah.
then you would go onto Google and type in Google Arts and Culture.
Oh, okay, I
But
see.
for this particular app, it doesn't really matter if you're logged on or not. The links will stay the same. The only reason I say that is I kind of like when things, I'll show you Google Earth later, and you can save projects there. So then I can create and save, and it all stays within my Google Suite. So
Okay.
yeah, so I kind of find that helpful for me. And you can see again, there's pieces in here that are in Spanish, pieces that are in English. And the other piece about Google is I can set my settings on my computer to be all in Spanish. I can set Google to all be in Spanish. In fact, I was playing around for this presentation. I clicked on a Portuguese link and I reset everything to Portuguese for myself, which was kind of fun to get out of. But, you know, I got immersed with my computer settings. So here's kind of some things that you can look at, and I just wanted to show you. It's really fun to go through here. You can share links of individual things, or you can share links for an entire collection, a place. It's easy to navigate up here as well. I can go nearby. And this could be something where, you know, you could actually start searching from Boulder. And I can see what is on Google Arts and Culture and somehow connected to Boulder, Colorado. Or close. Las Vegas, I suppose, will be close enough, right? When it comes to the entire world. So that's a little bit about Google Arts and Culture. And again, I think students think it's a lot of fun. The last piece I just want to show you about Google Arts and Culture that I think is super worthwhile is that I was able to look at, you can have AR, VR components, and they even take 3D objects in 3D. So I was able to go to, I think, a temple in Guatemala. And while I couldn't use that in AR and VR, I was able to take that temple, rotate it, look at it from all different angles. So it still gives me that immersive experience of actually touching something and feeling part of history, feeling connected to culture. And then I can even have the ability to take out in AR and VR animals, history, art, architecture, artifacts. And then there's text, of course. But I was going to tell you that this is a 9-domed mosque. And I was able to take out from my phone, so I have it on my phone. I could click on the item that I wanted to see. I then could scan my room, and I could put it into my room, and I could see it like that 3D object, rotate it and move it like it was small. So that's my rug. I could also then enter into the room, and I could go and make my entire workspace a 9-dome mosque. I could then walk around in my room and take pictures of where in the mosque it is. I had to be careful because I could run into a wall. But of course, I have my phone. So you have a lot of ways that you get to have a touch and have a really nice experience with this. So I really like it. And then we're going to go on to Google Earth. And Google Earth, I think, is really fun because you're able to explore the world with, again, maybe projects are already created. And I'm able to create my own projects. I can save, I can add videos, images, places. I can circle and highlight spots and point things out. There's a 2D view, a 3D view, a street view, and then there's actually videos on a city or a space that have been collected. This is also Google. This is really fun, and this is something I think would be, if I were back in the classroom, I would probably ask my students to make this for me. I would have them make a slide of something they've enjoyed from class. I think that would be a really easy, it's super easy to use. So I'm going to show you that. And again, you guys jump in anytime. This is Google Earth. So I'm going to launch it. And Olga, it's probably going to recognize that it's me because I'm logged in at the top. So can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So one thing I can do is I can spin the globe, right? And I can go anywhere that I would like to. Does anyone have a country or spot they want to visit? No top 10s? I've always got a top 10 of where I want to go.
Greece.
Oh, you're making me turn the world. That's good though. Let's go up to Greece. Let's see if we can actually zoom in a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong way, Karen. There we go. Let's go to Greece. I like it. We all need a vacation anyway.
I
So,
need some beach.
right? Yeah, beach would be good. So it just starts off with some pictures, and again, it's collecting them from all over the place. It's citing them for us. We can get a snippet, and maybe I'm like, that's making me really want to go there. I can also say, well, what do you have for me in Greece? Okay, I can actually look up, go to a tourist attraction. I can look at data layers. I can even get some guided tours. So these are already set up for me. I don't have to do anything. I could ask a student to go to the country that they want, and investigate it and find some of this, and then they can actually make their own. But so let's go to this one for a second. We're gonna go to Fornas, and we are right now looking at it in 2D. So I might not be able to see too much about it. Now I can kind of get a layout in 3D. You can see how by clicking that button. And I don't know about you guys, sometimes Google Earth makes me a little dizzy when I do this. If you get dizzy, you can just click on it and it stops moving. So that's for me. I'm always like, when I go on it. I can have more information. Oftentimes, it will have that pre-populated. I can also add things. So if I was creating a project, I can have that added to it. The fun part is I don't really know by getting that if I like it. So now I've got this little street view. I can actually go anywhere that's lit up in blue, and I can put the cursor and I can go there. So let's go there. And then it should take us right to it. I guess I misjudged a little bit, so that was my bad. But you can back up out of it. And you can go back into it. Yeah, I mean, now I can see what is the vegetation. So now, you can send students to a specific place. Let me go back and see if I can put myself on the street right there. And I'm able to go and walk the walk, right? I'm actually down on a road and I'm able to go. It won't let me go off the beaten track, unfortunately. I can't go hiking or anything like that. And sometimes the view is a little weird, but you can move it. You know, I can get a sense of where I am. And now we've all been to Florence, Greece, and I thought it was going to be beachy. So there you go, right? Now we've learned something. It's not all beaches, and I did want to go to the beach too. So, yeah, that gives you a little bit of that. And if I want to go back, it's just as easy as kind of clicking out of it. And I can go back to my home if I want to. So, again, this is Google related, so it gets to save my work. And so if I do want to take students on a particular space, I could, or on a journey, I could absolutely do that in projects, okay? So search is if you want to do a general search. Voyager, I believe you have certain voyages that you can go to that have already been created for you. The other pieces, I really like this one. This is fun. It's called I'm Feeling Lucky. You get to find a new place. My son likes this one too. So it's going to take me to a lake in England called the Longwater Lake. So you can always have just a surprise element in there, a gamification of it if you're interested. Again, I can't stand the spinning for too long, so I click on it, it'll stop. I'm now going to show you some projects. So I was able to create a sample activity for us today, and I didn't know if you guys were missing Boulder at all, so I'm going to go ahead and start presenting. But the first place it takes us is to Boulder. And so now I can have a series of spots. I know. Do you miss it? The other thing that
I'm there. I'm in my office.
I was going to ask, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm in my office too.
Okay, so you guys have been there. So you can see this pulls up actually a Wikipedia, and sometimes you'll get that. Sometimes you'll get like a little brief bit. Again, in your projects, I could have edited this or taken that out. Okay, I can make it into a whole nother language. I'm sorry you guys are at work. I also put ALTEC on here because I was thinking about it.
How would you edit it?
Good question. So here I've got in the edit, let me go out of the present mode. Dun, dun, dun. So right here, I've got this really easy edit button. What? And each one of these, I can upload my own pictures. I can add my own text. One thing I will say, if you're copying and pasting like I like to, you're gonna want to get to know this, like get rid of formatting, because it'll take whatever format you've copied from. But I just remove formatting. But yeah, you're able to change your text. You're able to bold. You're able to link to things. I can choose if I want a no info box. So if I didn't want anything from CU Boulder, I can get rid of it. I could have small. I can have large. I can add more pictures if I just didn't want one and I wanted a series, which I'll show you that in a minute. You've got different place marks that you can use. You can customize them with your own color palette if you choose. I also, if you want longitude and latitude for an exact location, you can use that. So it can be really specific. And once it's done, it's almost like Google Docs. It saves it. I don't have to click save anywhere. Okay. So if I, for example, want to make ALTEC have this, that default size, that should be done. And I can get rid of this and I can say hello to all of us. And now I can go back to the presentation, and that should have been changed right there, right? So it's just that easy to edit it, to add photos, which makes it really easy to use. And again, you can craft your own lessons in here. You can put your own vocabulary in here. You can customize, change the language, make it for the different level learner. So a lot of fun features in there. I'm now going to highlight my student Henrik. So I work with a student Henrik from Norway, and I had asked him to share with me one of his favorite places in Norway. So he said that we needed to go to this Ford, and he wrote a little bit in Norwegian for me, which basically says this is a really special Ford within Norway with beautiful views. You should go visit. And he was also telling me that because of its location of the rock slide, you could have a rock slide here. So it's a really like precarious space. And then I was able to get from him, and this is a video that when I went to Rocio to upload a picture, I can search within Google for a picture, and I typed in the name, and already I don't have to worry about going to Creative Commons and downloading photos. It's actually all there. And then I'm also able to upload a video. So I'm going to show you this just because Henrik did a little bit of a language so we could all learn Norwegian before going. So.
Hi, my name is Henrik and I'm from Oslo, Norway. If you are an English speaker heading to Norway for the first time, you might be relieved to know that English is widely spoken in Norway. However, here are some common phrases to get around. Yes means ja, no means nei, thank you means takk, hello is hallo, goodbye is ha det bra, how are you means hvordan går det, excuse me means unnskyld meg, I do not speak Norwegian means jeg snakker ikke norsk, I do not understand, jeg forstår ikke, how much does it cost means hvor mye koster det, where is means hvor hospital means sykehus.
All right, so I'll stop it there, but you get the idea. I mean, you can upload your own videos to explain. You could have students upload videos. They can add language components to it. So I think that that's kind of a fun application.
Yeah, so I have a question. All those dots are projects that have been uploaded by people that are like on as common resources, or like is there a privacy issue with like students' projects, let's say?
No, good question. The dots are my fault, Olga, because I was playing around right before the presentation, and I think I've asked for there. I got rid of them. I asked for special dots to be there because I wanted to show you how it can pre-populate all over the world. So that was created by Google and Google Earth. Those are already ready for you, for learners to go in and learn pieces. So I didn't put those in there. So now I can show you a little bit when I do my projects here. So you can customize your map style here. And I chose to show all these dots, and I realized it. So that's just a setting that you can do. And so now if I go back and I can do the presentation again, let's see if the dots are there. Okay, I have no more of those distracting dots for you. So again, just another way to sort of customize it. Good question.
Is there a way that, I mean, if I have a group or a class that I want to only certain dots, let's say the students do a project on Italy and they create 10 different dots and I want only to be seen by other people in the class. Is that possible?
Yeah, totally possible. I think that's why I like this platform so much. I'd have to look in the exact instructions on how to set and collaborate across. Mm-hmm. So remind me on that and let me look at the end, because I can share with you this project or template. I can also get the link, but I would imagine there's a way to collaborate in there. So you've kind of stumped me, but I would imagine the answer is yes. So let me find that for you. Yeah. So here we go. We've got another beautiful spot by Henrik, and I just wanted to show you that you could link to the world, or you could actually just bring people into it, into the 3D or the street view. Okay, you don't have to have them hover on the world. You can actually have your next point be, I'm going to the streets of Japan and we're going to walk around Tokyo, as opposed to we're going to hover around it and then go in. So that's totally customizable. And then again, I'm able to go to a place where I used to live in Chile and take you there. I'm probably not going to do that for time's sake, but again, this is just another thing that you can add. I was also able to delineate here the walk to the supermarket. So for example, if a student was trying to make a practical map and they wanted to circle a lake or circle a supermarket or show a walking, like this is the fastest way to get from, you know, McKenna to the rec center. It has those features that you can also put in there. Okay, and then I've got some untitled. So let me go back to the project. So again, you can see I'm able to delineate here, walk to the grocery store. It's got a really easy tutorial here. I can change any of this. It automatically is saved into my Google Drive and is connected to me because I'm signed in. I can also trash it. And then here, it looks like I can collaborate with you. Let's see, Olga. Let's add you. Olga, what's your last name?
Vasile, Vasile. So V.
Sorry. Yeah, V.
Vasile. Yeah.
Got you. So I'm going to have you be able to edit this, and then let's hope you'll be able to get it. And I think that should be just that simple to share with students.
Okay.
Cool. Let me go back to the presentation because I've got for us the next one that I want to take us to is Mozilla Hubs. So Mozilla Hubs is something I think is really fun. I'm not going to go into the present mode, but have you guys heard of Mozilla Hubs at all?
No.
No? Okay. This is an open educational resource. It is free. I have instructions for you. Again, I'm going to throw this in the resource for you in the chat. Let's see if I can do that, because I want to make sure everyone can see it. Okay, I'll do that in a second. But Mozilla Hubs has a really cool way, and I've got instructions for you, so I'll make sure you can get this, where you can actually create your own room, your own virtual space. And all the tools that I've shown you are something, and I believe that students are coming in right now on different technologies. They're using their phone, they're using tablets, they're using laptops, and as much as they like VR and the head-mounted displays, I don't think that that's really accessible and inclusive and fair for students maybe to purchase that. So right now, everything that I've given you is free. It's open. It can be used on a desktop, a mobile device, on a computer. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for both students and faculty, but I've got this is really fun. I'm going to take you to a room, but you can create a random scene. You can title it. You can, in Mozilla Hubs, you can have up to 24 people come into this room. You can get an embed code, so it can be embedded within Canvas. It could be a language practice center, right? You could say at 6 o'clock, I want everyone to come in and talk about games or do this. Or if you've got a group project and you want to meet with students, I think that's fun. If you wanted to do a presentation and just kind of had Zoom fatigue, I think this is another really good way to kind of get out of that. And the fun part is students can do it themselves, okay? So one of the things I'd like to do, and again, I knew this would happen with timing. This is just a fun group. I'm going to show you what one of these rooms look like, okay? And then we can maybe join the room in our little demo and mini experience one. So the other fun thing about Mozilla Hubs is if I did have a VR device, I could use it on my VR device, which is cool. I can also join the room, or I could just watch. So I'm going to join the room. I'm going to enter. If I were to share the link with you guys, you are welcome to join me in the room. Okay, the fun part about this room is if, like, for example, Olivia, you joined me in this room. If we're close, we're avatars. When we are close, we can hear each other. When we go away, we can't. It's just almost mimics the real life when it comes to the sound of it. So let me show you this space. I think I picked one because I wanted to go to one that had some foreign languages. So I've got Carmen's, Florista. I'm not quite sure. This is just a really fun room. What I can do in here, and this is one of the things, is I can add objects. So I can write in the room. I can project my camera. I'll just show you really quick. It's going to take a picture of me as an avatar. Let me put something else in here. I can share my self in this room. So, and I can move it. So if I wanted to, I can take, this is me. I'm a fox avatar. I'm seeing myself with that camera. So I know that's confusing a little, like, ooh, we'll go there in a minute. But I can actually come in just as I were in Zoom and present myself, and my avatar can still walk around. I don't even have to share my video screen. I could be showing a YouTube video to you guys on here in this virtual room. If I want to stop sharing, I can. So it doesn't have to stay that way. I can also place objects, and I think this is really fun. If I want a cat, I can bring a cat into the space. So students can come in here and create and add things and move things, and they can anchor objects, and I've got all that in the instructions for all the fun things. I can react if someone was talking or saying something, and everyone can see that around the room. I can fly if I wanted to. I could fly off this little island. I can go explore wherever I want to. So I just wanted to show you that this is an option to make these little spaces. I can chat. I could also see who's in here. So really cool. Any questions about Mozilla Hubs?
So did you create the space?
Yeah, right before, like 2 seconds before our presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't take that long for you to create this space.
No, and I'll show you. I can go to Mozilla Hubs, and again, Hubs. I go to create a room. Again, I'm signed in as Karen Crouch. I do this a lot so that way they can remember me. So if I've made spaces, I can stay there. Or I get to keep it. I've even made one for my my son. So right now what I can do is I can join a room. Let's see. I can go into a random room here. I then can create my own room. So let me do that really quick. Create the room. Sorry, guys. I like to drive fast. But once you have it, it's really easy to share. So let me see if I can do options. I want to change the scene. So here's where I can decide to take us to a winter wonderland, an outdoor meetup space, a maze. This would be good for escape rooms too, or like give someone a puzzle to solve and have them go to a virtual room and try to do that. There's museums. I'm gonna show you this for Dulce. So I can change it. I don't have to keep it as this. Okay, so I can make it like, you know, CU Boulder virtual space can all be chased. And then you actually can even customize a lot of the walls in here. So you could put a PowerPoint on there. You could link to websites on here. You can create your own virtual gallery for students to look at. And, you know, the hardest part is kind of learning how to navigate in it. Okay, especially because I'm on my PC. But so they give you all these different templates, and they even have like education spaces. So you could make your own school with Mozilla Hubs and say, meet me in room 4. Or you could have your own breakout rooms with this.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, have you heard of any faculty using Mozilla Hubs, and what did they use it just for, like, students meeting spaces, or was there some sort of communicative goal? Have you heard of any cool ideas for using this?
No, and I'm so interested in helping support some too. So right now, I mean, we have, and I'll mention this at the end, but we do have some seed money projects. I was bringing this up with libraries. So the Dean of Libraries, Robert, and I were chatting, and I was saying, this is so cool. Like, what if we used this, or like, group projects or student projects. Olivia, I'm not sure why it's not happening. I don't think it's as well known, one, and I think maybe the other thing is we're all just adjusting to Zoom from the pandemic and teaching online, and so I think some of these pieces add another uncertainty for faculty. But if anyone's interested, I mean, I think this is amazing. We actually made for ALTEC, if anyone is curious, ALTEC, CU, we made a virtual Hive. I don't know if you knew, like we used to have a physical space. And the student Henrik that I mentioned before, he's gonna hate me that I've done this. We have a virtual Hive that students can go to. Again, you need to keep in mind it's maximum of 24 people, but this will give you a sense of what a marketed one looks like. So he has objects in here, and as the creator, he can have the objects stay, but I'm a visitor. So if I were to create objects, when I leave, my objects go with me, if that makes sense. So we went ahead and we made a virtual Hive here, and we threw in Yoda. We put some of our branding, and we've got CU in here, and we put some fun, fun little pieces. I really have fun when I come in here and can chat. We've had a staff meeting in here, so I think there's a lot of different applications for it.
You do something
So Karen,
like,
can you, sorry, Lucia.
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead, Dulce.
Can you customize this to make it look like the real Hive in ALTEC?
Unfortunately, that's a great question, Dulce. I've had that question before. I have to go with the templates that have already been created with me. So I think I showed you, there's a bunch of them, but no, you can't really like build your own modeling from what the museum or the library at CU would look like. However, that could be something that we could collaborate or build on, as we're working with people and students who are.
But what I mean, the platform have that facility? No.
No.
So
no.
you have to use something different. Okay.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Can you record what is happening in that room? For example, can you assign this and ask students to meet there and have a conversation about, I don't know, ordering food or something like that?
I don't think you can record it using the tools in here. What you could do is you could have your students have another tool in which they're recording. You could have them jump into a Zoom meeting and screen share that way and record on Zoom. So I could see you bringing in a different application for that. But as far as I know, not in here where like it would save to the cloud or the students would get a copy of that recording to sort of upload to Canvas or to send to you.
Okay.
I think that students would have to capture that just as they would in like a conversation if they were to have one-on-one and put it online. Okay, I want to keep going, but was there another question for that? No? Okay, you guys are easy. I'm gonna go over these ones kind of quickly because this is something I think is interesting, and so you guys, the other ones have kind of been on the VR and the virtual world and the virtual spaces, and then we have these other two that I wanted to mention. Just Align is a great way to draw in AR and record videos. You can have a voice over on these videos, talk in them, and you can also save videos to device, upload for later. You even have sort of a interactive conversation, a connection with friends. So when we go back to the classroom, if two students were trying to play a game, Pictionary, charades, vocabulary, I could see this being fun. And you're probably like, what are you talking about, Karen? I should probably show you a little teaser of what this is first. So let me do that. So I put that on there because, there's a ton of apps out there and available. This is also Google. And I'm not trying, I promise Google did not like pay me to say any of this. I think what I like about this is that this is becoming a very, very popular app with younger people. And as soon as I saw that you could draw a line, again, I'm working with my son and he has some issues with being able to write. And so we've been using this as a tool to help be able to write in the air and to remember different things. So I could see this very easily as if you were having a spelling, a game, a way that students might be able to collaborate and have fun. So that's something that if you haven't checked out that app, I think that's a really worthwhile one. And then I'm going to stop sharing. Well, actually, I'll go back to this. I think the other thing that I thought was really interesting was that this is, Modly has an AR app, and I'm just going to show you from my phone. It's an app that you can download. It's free. I can learn a little bit of French. You can pick a language on here. You get an avatar that comes to you, and you're able to practice on here. And I can bring my avatar into my room with me.
Is that what A stands for? And A, is it avatar? Like, what is AR?
No, so AR, the good question is augmented reality. So VR is virtual reality.
Sorry, one of those low-level questions.
No, it's a great question. Again, I was saying like it's Pokemon Go for me. So I'm bringing in a little avatar. I don't know if you can see her, but let me put her in here.
Hello, human. Welcome to the Mondly AR experience. I'm here to help you learn a new language in a fun and interactive way. This is a new technology that combines voice and object recognition with augmented reality. The technology which allows me to be part of your world by blending your real world with my virtual one.
So
let's learn about animals.
So she comes in
First,
and I get
I'll
to
show
pick
you the king of
different people. I'm going to quit this for now, but they have introductions to conversation, space, musical instruments, animals, fruits, vegetables, food, drinks, all these different things. And they also have English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Russian, Japanese, Korean, Turkish, Romanian, Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, Portuguese, Dutch, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, Finnish, Greek, Afrikaans, Croatian, Polish, I'm almost done, Czech, Bulgarian, Hungarian, Ukrainian, Vietnamese, Hindi, Indonesian, and Thai. So I'm like, this is just, again, maybe it's not something you're using in the classroom, but it's out there and these apps are coming very, very quickly. And I think that that's, it's quite, Olga, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so the students use them independently for practice?
Yeah, exactly. This is something maybe you're not like incorporating into your curriculum, but this is free.
And you could suggest that if they want to review a certain
they
could use it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding like there's language learning apps that are out there, but the fact that this is like AR and like again, I got sucked into the Pokemon and having the Pokemon in my house. I get to bring in this little avatar. They come into my space. It's interacting with me. It's Duolingo's fun and some of these other things that are gamified. This is gamified plus it's here in your room, and I agree. It might not be something that you put in your class, but maybe you'd share with students as a supplementary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to be conscious of time in our 3 minutes that we have here. Is there an app that you guys were like, oh, I want to try that?
Yeah, I wanted to use Mozilla Hubs, but I'm trying to think of like how exactly to use it. And if I teach language, so I think the Mondly would be very cool.
Yeah, exactly. We also have at ALTEC, I want to say this, if I could take a minute while you guys are thinking about a few other ways you could use it. I'd like to sign you guys up. We're doing a project right now with Immerse Me. It hasn't been launched in the US yet, but it is a language learning virtual reality program that looks at listening, speaking, reading, and writing for basic, intermediate, and beginner. ALTEC is has license for that now for 75 students. I will have some space available for summer if someone wanted to try that out. That's another thing that can be used on the desktop with mobile phones, tablets, and we have some fun glasses that students can play around with and put their mobile phones in, and it makes it a little more interactive while we can't have a bunch of like expensive headsets sharing going on right now. So, and there's also seed money for faculty who would be interested in that. So I'll get you all signed up with maybe just a trial so you can play around in that platform. And if anyone's interested, this is a great opportunity for research. And again, I'm here for planning purposes, or if you just want to brainstorm, chat about something. I think this is really exciting. So yeah, Mozilla Hubs is good. I could see that being a nice one. Any other things that you guys were like, oh, this fits in, or?
Well, I like very much, well, both the Google Earth projects, I find them very interesting. I want to explore it a little bit more. But yeah, it's the problem is like, it's hard to, like you really need to plan it a lot in advance, and the students need to kind of put the energy to get involved. So that's one of the issues, like just motivating the students to be there and kind of embracing the project. But I think it's very exciting, so I think they would do it.
Good. Let me go ahead and share this doc again, which has got instructions for if you're wanting to create Mozilla Hubs. If you want some activity ideas on how to bring this into language. We didn't really mention, so yeah, I'm glad you're playing around in there. There's virtual museums. So I've actually got a list there from a website of what I think is a lot of comprehensive list of places to go in different languages. You've got a little bit of links to Google Arts and Culture, Olga, so you can link later on, and Google Earth, Mozilla Hubs, and the instructions just align in Modly. So hopefully this will give you guys some next steps and some resources. Yeah, Olivia.
Olga, I wanted to ask you, were you thinking of using Google Earth for student presentations or group projects? Like, have you thought a little bit of like what purpose you would use it for? I'm also thinking, oh, how could I use that? I love it, but I haven't. Maybe presentations is the only idea I've had.
Well, also real explorations. So like presentation at the end, but they could explore, like a place and actually getting to see real places. So having them build an itinerary for instance, visiting a museum, but like combining the geography and actually being there, like in the middle of that wood, very interesting wood that we saw in Greece, but it could be a city. So you could actually navigate through a city and see and look for, places that are of cultural interest, or have them discover those places and then present on them. And so that I think this is quite easy to do.
They also can be super good ideas for compositions. Also, you can let them go and visit and write a composition on that. Write storytellers, so they can write a story of a character or a set of characters that they come up, and imagine going to that place and what they are doing, what kind of activities they are doing, what they're discovering. So that's another way to use those kind of places.
Perfect. Yeah, I saw one of the presentations had their students go out and look at historical characters around Paris from different time periods, and they got to actually put them into the maps of the different parts of Paris that they lived in or worked at, and then they had to write in French a little bit about those people and background, so they were getting history, culture, it's a lot. Good. Excellent.
So depending on the level of the students, you can have them do different things, you know, like for, you know, even directions, learning how to go places, and you could use it just for that purpose. That is a level 10 level of language, and then you can do more advanced things with culture and in, you know, more advanced levels. Yeah.
And Olga, you reminded me about the cities. There's a whole, you know, there was a language class around graffiti and street signs, and, you know, being able to sort of like navigate there. So being able to like, can you go and find a restaurant and see what it says on the border? Could read signs, even just have them explore and find that language and say, hey, what were the top things that you noticed in this city?
Yeah.
Yeah, even very simple things as 10, like colors and, you know, clothes or spaces or something like that, you know, vocabulary. That's another thing, like a list of things that they can find, you know, so find this thing, you know.
Perfect. Yeah. And I honestly think some of this AR stuff's just really fun for students to play with and to draw the line. I highly recommend, you know, as homework, go download one of those apps and just like try it out and see, because I know working with, you know, my background does have like this K through 12, but maybe a K through 20, right? And I'm always a kid at heart, and these things that take me out of my element and make me think differently or creatively put me in a new space for language learning. And I think that works for me. I don't know if I would have learned Spanish without going abroad and having the immersive. And so feeling immersed and feeling engaged is something I think is fun for students.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
I hope you guys have a great.
So I'm just hoping that I saved the chat several times, but like if it doesn't work,
I'll send you
Yeah.
an email with all the resources, and anyone
Okay,
can
thank you so
feel free
much.
to be in touch. Yeah.
Can you send me that too, please?
Yeah, you got it, Dulce. No
Thank
problem.
you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.